Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. Again, we say happy anniversary TNT, 60 and strong. And I know that people say, oh, well, this is wrong, that is wrong. Every country has problems right now. And 60 years of being independent and being a strong republic, independent, governing its own affairs, TNT has every reason to be proud and optimistic. Let's get to the program now, because the reigning Jamaica Premier League champions, Harbour View, will travel to New York this week to play against the Caribbean Summer League All-Stars team in the inaugural VM Cup at the Old Boys High School field in Brooklyn. That's on Saturday. The chairman of Professional Football Jamaica Limited, PFJL, Christopher Williams, told Nationwide News last month that the game is a major opportunity to enhance the commercial value of the JPL.
They're playing for the VM Cup. It's our inaugural cup. We hope to do it every year, on Labor Day weekend in Brooklyn. And it will be the JPL champions, whoever those champions are, against the Caribbean Summer League All-Star team. As you know, there's a big Caribbean Summer League that takes place in the summer in New York. And, we will be going up against the All-Star team from that summer league.
Of course, Chris would have been speaking before the JPL would have climaxed with Harbour View finishing top of the pile. Now, the head coach of Harbour View, Ludlow Bernard, says the game is an opportunity for his players to raise their profile. This is what he said. This opportunity provides development, visibility and exposure to many of our young players. As the new 5-star generals in Jamaica, they've won the Premier League now 5 times. We are enthusiastic about facing this international 11, he continued. Football fans in general and Harbour View fans in particular can come out to see a young Trayvon Reid, or new sensational goalkeeper Anthony Bennett, as well as Jashawn Anglin, Philon Lawrence and Nicholas Hamilton. These are all upcoming stars for Harbour View. We look forward to your support. Now, the Caribbean All-Star selection will feature some of the standout performers from the recent Caribbean Premier League soccer tournament, including Jamaicans O.J. Bedward and Kendon Anderson, the Grenadian Clive Murray, and Trayvon Bob from Guyana. Joining us on the phone to talk more about the game is the general manager at Harbour View Football Club, Clyde Jureidini. Clyde, good afternoon. Welcome to the SportsMax Zone.
Good afternoon, George, and good afternoon to your viewers across the Caribbean and North America. Excellent,
sir. First question to ask, from Ludlow's quotes that I read just now, Trayvon Reid, his status, we know he was on loan with your outfit last season, of course, very instrumental in your championship success. Was that a 1-year loan, or did you renew it? Do you have him permanent now? What's his status with Harbour View?
It was, and it is a 1-year loan, and we're in the process of renegotiating and talking to his parent club, Tivoli Gardens Football Club.
Okay, so, well, obviously you know why I asked, because we're now in transfer period. So if it is that the JPL's transfer window accords with that which exists elsewhere, one would have thought that the end of last season would have seen the sun set on that loan arrangement, or is it a different tenure?
It will be a different tenure. We have an internal agreement where, as discussed, as we have always had a clear and upfront relationship with the Tivoli Gardens Management Street. We informed them. You would remember that Trayvon was one of 5 players representing Harbour View that traveled just last week to Austria with the Reggae Boys senior team.
Yes.
And so we had to have those discussions and say to them we'd like him to be available. And he wanted to be available. And so he's a part of the group, and he already, with those 5 players, Nicholas Hamilton, Colorado Murray, Amal Knight, and who am I leaving? Shamari Diop. All 5 of them have been in New York since last weekend and will be a part of our squad and the game this Saturday.
Okay, indulge me one more Trayvon question. So you say you are working to regularize the situation. You're working to extend his loan or to take him permanently from Tivoli?
We're keeping that discussion open, and then we'll see how it goes. We don't mind either way.
Yeah, I'd like to partner
but
you.
Like everyone else, we would always want to go for the bigger deal, which is to transfer him totally.
Yeah, I'd like to be your
that's an open secret.
I'd like to be your poker partner in Las Vegas, Clyde. Thank you for that answer. Here you go. All right, let's talk about Saturday's game now. You say that some of your squad, at least those boys are in New York already. When do you take everybody over, and what are the training arrangements between now and Saturday's game?
Okay, one other player, Romain Brackenridge, is in Fort Lauderdale, so he will travel from Fort Lauderdale to New York tomorrow. 18 persons, coaches, players, management, travel at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning from Palisades Airport to JFK, and then the remaining 5 persons have a flight in the afternoon, and they'll get there later at night, and we should link up with them a little ahead of midnight. So the complete party should be in New York by tomorrow afternoon, and then 5 persons later on in the night. And then we have a training session at the MAD venue on Friday between 3 to 5 p.m. at the old boys and girls high school ground in Brooklyn.
All right, Clyde, can you talk to us now about Hi, I'm good. Just talk to us a bit about, going into this match, the mindset of the team, of course, and, just what you hope to achieve at the end of the match.
Well, we're in pre-season, and the Premier League season is scheduled to restart. The date we hear is October 23. So we're in early pre-season because this game, and we should have had a game last weekend in Hartford, Connecticut, that was cancelled at the last minute there. But we're just using these to kickstart our pre-season training. So we're there, but we're not at full throttle as yet. And then when we come back from this tour, we'd regroup and start full pre-season training around about the 12th of September.
Right, and I know George mentioned Trayvon, but talk to me a bit now about the quality of the bunch of guys that will be there with, representing.
Well, it's the full squad that won the Premier League Championship last season. We haven't included any new persons as yet because, as the initial discussion with George, we're in transition period. So we're talking to some persons that we're looking at bringing in, and we had focus on since last season. And we had a one-day trial that had about 55 to 60 persons attended. And we chose about 14, 15 players from that to further continue their training. So they have been training with the squad that has been here for the last week or so. And then we picked that up because by September 9th, when we come back, September 13th, I think it is the deadline date for the transfer window to be closed. So when we come back, we still have a few days to close off those bits of business to see who is added to the squad, and then we go into increased training module getting ahead of October 23 when we start.
Clyde, a bit about the opposition that you'll face in this match, the Caribbean All-Stars. I know that this is a very popular tournament, as we had said before. Typically, a lot of the Jamaicans who play in this tournament end up playing, spending a protracted period in the summer and actually miss the start of the Jamaica Premier League, which usually starts in September. I remember several of the top players in local football were absent during September because they were in Brooklyn playing this tournament. So it looks to be a high-quality set of players that are involved there.
It looks that way, Lance, and some of those dynamics have been changing over the years. In the last couple of years, the last direct couple of years, because of the pandemic, nothing happened here.
That's right.
And I'm not sure what happened there, but that didn't come into play. And even before that, a lot of the Jamaican players were getting more focused and concentrated in being at home and focusing on the Jamaica Premier League team. So while in the early days, probably going back 5, 8, 10 years, most of the players would have migrated to the Jamaican players and played in this casual league. to fill the void. Now I think more players are staying at home and focusing on the local Premier League and really giving it more of a push there, so that that metric is there, that dynamic is there, and the quality from what we understand of the league players there in the summer has always been high, and it's a good motivation that the players from the Caribbean and the Jamaican players out there want to show their skill and measure and seek to play against the current champions. That's always a good battle that everybody would lace up for.
Yeah, Clyde, I recall that for several seasons I was sort of mocking the Harbour View team about your trend of winning the Jamaica Premier League title every 3 years, 07, 2010, then 2013. So we were expecting you to win in 2016 and it didn't happen. We had to wait 6 more years for the title. But how satisfying was this year's success in the Premier League?
Right, and that rotation had changed because, again, the dynamics had changed, Lance, and I also listen and watch you guys, and George has looked at a period that we have been at our highest activity and winning in between those years as well. What has happened is after we won in 2013, a lot of the clubs, a lot of the football fraternity think that we are going to win it as we were winning what was the league format every year, because we prepared our teams by going overseas in the preseason to start early preseason, train properly preseason, and get into the first game of the competition in high gear, because then the winner of the league format won the league. Yes. And so now everybody didn't want that, it would seem, and we were the targets, and so it changed to the top 6 after the top 4, I think, for a brief period. And so we changed as well, because no, we didn't have to come first in the preliminary. We could come 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and even 5th or 6th. And so the dynamics at the time was to look at the international market, prepare the players locally at the international level, and we were selling or trading our players internationally, particularly the ones with potential and the ones in the younger age group, because now North America were buying heavily and buying for the MSL and the USL, and then after that, the European. So we went into that focus because we didn't need to come first. Yeah. We didn't believe in the principle, still don't. We prefer to play every given Sunday at your best from day one to the final day, because that's how you prepare professionally. And I don't think in football development in Jamaica we can afford to relax and play around and then qualify. We were trying to do that this year, but we kept getting 1 win, 1 lose, 1 draw. And then we repeated 1 win, and that was the matrix for the last 2 seasons. And then just towards the end of the 2nd round, we started to get it right. And we snuck by Tivoli and Humberline for the advantage 6th position. And then we got into the playoffs. We got into a good, positive performance mode and got the title.
All right. Outside of the format now, Clyde, as you get ready for this match in Brooklyn, a quick comment on the Jamaica Premier League and its new format since COVID, the COVID pandemic propelling the domestic football into a new era. Yeah. So outside of the format, how satisfied are Harbour View with the current state of domestic football and its immediate future?
Hard to give a real analysis of it. The 2021 truncated season was just exactly that. You got in and got out, and it was like a knockout competition, to be truthful. So it was some sort of a gamble. When it stabilized and you had 2 rounds, you got a little fairer impression of what it is. But Lance, you know, and George as well, the Premier League had 4 rounds, and then it was cut to 3 rounds. And then it was 3 rounds on the playoff, and now 2 rounds on the playoff. I don't think you really genuinely see where it is as yet. And for me, until you get back to 3 rounds of a league format, with or without the playoffs, then you're really not playing the league that it is. This year coming, from the discussions I've been involved in so far, looks like we'll have 2 rounds again. You have 14 teams up from the 12. So that will give more depth to to purpose and evaluation, and then there's a knockout competition to be added, so you will have an option of more games. So we're getting back there slowly, but I don't think we are realistically there yet. I think the effort is there. I think the focus is there. I think playing at neutral venues have helped somewhat to increase the quality and the period. Definitely the television coverage had up the tactics and the techniques, because the coaches and the technical teams are studying, reviewing more, and planning executions more in games. So I think that has helped, and the visibility locally through the Caribbean, North America, and globally through streaming has brought value to it. So I think we are on the up, but I don't think we're there yet to see exactly what it is, because we're still losing many of our best players, our potential players across the trunk from our view, from a truncated season. He played 12 games and he was offered an international contract. Look back at a Jermaine Ewlands, who was there for 10, 15, not as much as 10, 15, above 10 years, and was playing high-quality, consistent football before he could even be seen or invited. And that only happened when he went to a Gold Cup in the USA.
Yeah, Clyde, you touched on one of the issues I wanted to raise. Time is against, but here's this one now. Your great club was founded, organized in 1974, right?
That's correct, March 4th.
Good. So you're approaching 50 years.
Yes.
I've long said to myself, if it is that the brains trust at Harbour View, yourself, Carvel Stewart, and your colleagues, have ever harbored the idea of expanding Harbour View to becoming a sporting club? And you know where I'm going, because the AC Milans of this world, AC Milan is not a football club. They do basketball, they do handball, they do a range of things. Barcelona, the football is just one side. Barcelona even has a cricket team. So the great clubs of Europe are more than football clubs. That football is just one sport that they play. Many a Saturday I'm at home and I'm watching Barcelona playing handball. By the way, folks, handball is really exciting on the European circuit. And I'm wondering if, as you approach 50 years, Clyde, and given your success with the football side of things, if there's ever that the urge and the facilitation to expand it, the great institution, beyond the football, to open up opportunities for more youngsters talented in sport to make Harbour View more than the football side.
There's always the view, the vision, and the hope to expand, but we have to do it in a careful, precise manner. For instance, it has been expanded. In 1974, before that happened, in 1972, I was the captain of the first winning Harbour View minor league team, under 16. There, you had one junior competition, the under 16 minor league, sponsored by Dennis and Geddes at the time, and then you had major league being Kasafo. No, we have under 7, under 9, under 11, 13, 15, 17, Premier League and Masters League. So the football itself as a sport has expanded, and we're not paying for 2 or 3 months anymore. We're paying for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 months of the year at high budgets. So we are way beyond. As you all know, we have one field that everybody trains on.
Yeah.
And at the moment we closed it today after the Premier League finished it for the next 2 weeks to renovate that one field. We need other fields. We need the football to expand, and we need that to be stabilized and sustainable, and then we expand. But we're open to the idea, if we can get partners who can do it and are prepared to do it, and we surely will. Our vision of growth is there and alive and well in that regard, but we need resources, personnel, financial, structural, all around. But we have to build this base a little stronger. We have lost, as Lan said, that 3-year winning. We have gone back to 6, and we have back in the winning mode now, and so we have to move to balance both that and the business of football that we have moved into to continue to export players. Part of why we won this year is that during the season we never lost any of our star players, as we have done for the last 7 years, repeatedly. Our star players go to international contracts and we get hit.
Excellent. Good stuff, Clyde Jureidini. We look forward to more success for the club as you approach 50, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you all for having us.
Good. You know, the model I speak of about Harbour View expanding, it's what Father Sherlock tried to do with Boys Town. And it is, if you look at the crests of the storied European institutions, as I said, AC Milan one, Barcelona the other, we look at the club crest. It doesn't have football alone in it. It has tennis, it has athletics, it has, because there's so much more than football clubs, and so many youngsters get the chance to advance themselves through sports by virtue of the range of offerings coming from these institutions, made famous by football and made rich by football, so they have the resources to put around. And what Clyde is saying is that they've expanded the football, but you know, they're constrained to go beyond that, and we wish that they would get there. Yeah? Break time here on the SportsMax Zone. Back with more after these.